As silent offer the stars were quiet that night. Too quiet. Far above Earth, satellites floated peacefully, catching every signal, every whisper from the deep black of space. For years, Earth had broadcast one simple message: we come in peace. We offer knowledge, friendship, and trade. The message was repeated in hundreds of languages, human and alien. It was Earth's only voice to the stars. At first, the galaxy listened. Some worlds ignored it. Some laughed. A few curious civilizations replied with polite words, but no real action. Then, the Jar Empire replied. They didn't send words. They sent fire. Without warning, without negotiation, they launched an attack on Earth's largest diplomatic hub, New Geneva. It was a city built to welcome alien ambassadors. A city with no weapons, no defenses, only hope. In 6.4 seconds, it was gone. Over 2 billion humans were turned to ash. No warning, no reason. Just silence. The leaders of Earth, once proud defenders of peace, gathered in the hidden base called Argon Deep. It was deep under Antarctica, where even enemy satellites could not see. General Holland stood before the world leaders. His voice was calm, but his eyes were full of fury. We offered them peace, he said. We showed mercy, kindness, and trust. And they replied with genocide. The president of Earth, Myra Tan, looked down at her shaking hands. Do they know what they've done? Holland turned to the screen behind him. It showed images of burning cities, black skies, and the broken remains of children's toys buried in rubble. They'll know now, he said coldly. Activate Project Revenant. Across the room, a young soldier flinched. Her name was Commander Rhea Voss. She was the only known survivor of the New Geneva attack. She had been visiting her sick daughter. In a hospital bunker when the first blast hit, she came out of the fire with burns, blood, and empty eyes. Her daughter didn't survive. Now she stood tall, her face unreadable, her body rebuilt with the best cybernetic tech Earth had. She had one mission: deliver Earth's final message. In a dark room below the base, Rhea stood before a metal coffin. It opened slowly, revealing a black suit, sleek, heavy, and built for war. Not just to fight, but to finish. As she stepped inside, a voice in her ear said, Revenant One ready for deployment. Rhea didn't blink. Her voice was steady. Set destination, Shar Prime. From space, Earth's peaceful glow dimmed. Not because of clouds, but because the black ships had launched. Ships with no names. Ships made in silence. Back in Argon Deep, General Holland recorded a message to the galaxy. His voice was slow, controlled, and full of weight. To all civilizations of the galaxy, Earth once chose peace. That offer is now withdrawn. What comes next is your choice. Or ours. Then came the final words. The ones that would be remembered for centuries. We came in peace. You answered. With fire. Now ... we answer. As the transmission ended, a cold wind passed through the base. Soldiers stood still. No one cheered. No one smiled, because they all knew what was coming. This wasn't just revenge. This was remembrance through destruction. Project Revenant. The hallway was cold. Metal walls, red lights blinking softly. The silence inside the underground base was heavy like a storm waiting to break. Commander Rhea Voss stood alone in front of a black door marked Revenant. She had been through pain most humans could not imagine. She had watched her city vanish in a flash. She had held her daughter's body in her arms, knowing peace had failed. But now, she was no longer just a mother. She was Earth's answer. The door hissed open. Inside, machines buzzed quietly. Rows of strange pods stood like coffins, each filled with something. Someone. Soldiers, but not normal ones. They were tall, cold, and silent. Their skin was covered in nanometal. Their eyes no longer blinked. Their hearts beat slowly, but stronger than any machine. These were the revenants humans rebuilt for one purpose: to end the war that never should have started. "Status report," Rhea said calmly. A voice responded through the air. It belonged to Dr. Kellen, the man who designed the revenants. "All 10 units online, sensed. They await your command." Rhea stepped closer to Unit 06, the tallest one. He had once been a farmer from Mars. After the Jar attack, he volunteered. No training, no questions. Just rage. "Do they still feel pain?" Rhea asked. "No," Dr. Kellen replied. "Only memory." Rhea looked at the units again. She didn't see soldiers. She saw grief. She saw love turned into fire. "Good," she whispered. "They'll remember what was taken." Later that day, Earth's hidden shipyard beneath the Pacific Ocean came alive. The Iron Pulse, humanity's fastest Black Ops warship, rose from the waters. It had no visible weapons, no lights, just shadow. Inside, Rhea and the Revenants sat. In silence. No music, no speeches. Only breath. A young pilot, Lieutenant Unveil, looked at Rhea and spoke nervously. "Mom, is it true you lost everything?" She turned to him slowly. Her voice was soft, but sharp. "Not everything. I still have a message to deliver." As the ship pierced the sky, leaving Earth's blue glow behind, Rhea opened a small case in her hand. Inside was a child's drawing. A stick-figure family. One word scribbled in crayon: PEACE. She folded the paper gently and set it on fire. "Peace was Plan A," she said, watching the flame. "Now they'll see Plan B." On the Jar homeworld, far across the galaxy, their generals laughed. "Humans are soft," one said. "They will never rise after New Geneva." Another added, their message was peace. "That makes them weak." But as their laughter echoed, across the palace halls, the sky turned black. 12 unmarked ships appeared in orbit. No warnings. No messages. Only silence. Then, the first Revenant landed, and everything changed. Asterisk. The sky burns black. The sky over Jar Prime was green and peaceful. Bird-like ships floated above the cities. Markets were full. Alien children laughed in the streets. They believed the war was won, that Earth had fallen silent forever. They were wrong. At exactly 3:17 Jar time, the sky turned black. 12 ships appeared, massive, silent, and shaped like blades. No one knew where they came from. No alarms had been triggered. Then, something dropped from the clouds. A figure. Heavy, dark, glowing. Commander Rhea Voss hit the ground like thunder. Her armor cracked the concrete. Alien civilians screamed. She didn't even look at them. Behind her, 10 more figures dropped one by one. The Revenants. They stood like statues of war. No words. No fear. Just purpose. At the Jar defense tower, General Vrak Talon looked at the screen. His guards whispered nervously. "Humans? This is their reply?" He laughed. "Just 11? He leaned back in his seat. "Send scouts. Bring me their heads." Minutes later, 20 Jar shock troops surrounded the Revenants. "You are not welcome here," the lead trooper shouted. "We didn't come for welcome," Rhea replied. One Jar raised his weapon. Big mistake. Rhea moved like lightning. Her fist crushed the alien's armor. The Revenant beside her tore another in half with one swing of a plasma blade. The rest tried to run, but no one escaped. Within 60 seconds, all 20 shock troops were gone. Their weapons still warm on the ground. News spread fast. Across Jar Prime, military bases lit up. Fighters launched. Energy cannons powered up. The sky filled with defense drones. But the Revenants were Already moving, fast, silent, lethal, Rhea led them into the heart of the capital. Not to take the city, but to burn the lie that Earth was weak, the lie that peace had made them soft. They stormed the Palace of Judgment, where the Jar leaders had voted to destroy New Geneva. Rhea kicked open the grand doors. Inside, a massive hall of gold and crystal echoed with gasps. Jar nobles trembled in fear. One tried to speak. We we didn't know. We thought you were silent? Rhea interrupted. She raised her plasma cannon and blasted the speaker's throne in two. That silence was grief. Now it's fire. Above the city, one of Earth's ships blocked the sun. Jar children looked up and cried. It wasn't night, but it felt like it. The people of Jar Prime, once proud and fearless, now hid in bunkers. Their leaders, once drunk with power, now begged for mercy. And Earth said nothing. Only the revenants spoke. And their language was vengeance. Rhea stood at the top of the ruined palace. Smoke rose behind her. Fire danced in her reflection. She activated her helmet cam and opened a transmission to the entire galaxy. This is Commander Rhea Voss of Voss. Earth, you watched as our cities burned. You called us weak. You called us soft. She paused. Her eyes burned. Now look again. We offered peace. This is our answer. Then she ended the message. No threats. No warnings. Just truth. And above Jar Prime, the sky remained black. Because peace had died in fire. And Earth had become its shadow. Asterisk, the council breaks. Far from Jar Prime, in the heart of neutral space, a golden ring floated in the void. It was known as the Spire home of the Galactic Council, the oldest and most powerful alliance in the galaxy. Inside, 22 alien species sat in panic. Holograms of Earth's attack on Jar Prime flickered in front of them. Buildings collapsed, troops screamed, and in every frame, humans walked through fire like ghosts in armor. Council Speaker Ilunatal, silver-scaled diplomat, stood with trembling hands. Jar forces are gone. Their capital. Silenced. All. Because of 11 humans. A deep voice replied from the shadows. No, said General Mokhtar of the Varn Dominion. Not humans, revenants. He leaned forward. His mechanical eye blinked once. We created monsters. When we ignored peace, many council members shouted. Some wanted to punish Earth. Others wanted to surrender. They only attacked Jar, cried a merchant from the Nalari Syndicate. Let's talk to them before they strike again. They sent no warning, hissed a noble from the Gyrene Empire. No mercy. Is that how peacekeepers behave? The screen changed. Rhea's face stared back at them. Calm. Cold. Human. Her voice echoed across the chamber. We offered peace. You stood by and watched it burn. So now we stand. And you will remember. No one spoke, not even the warlords. Somewhere, deep in the council halls, 2 agents whispered. The humans. They built those ships in silence. No one knew. They didn't need to brag, the other replied. They remembered. The silence in the chamber grew heavier. What if Earth attacks us next? Speaker Elun looked up. Then we won't be ready. We never were. Back on Earth, President Miratan watched the council feed with folded arms. She stood in a dark chamber beneath the surface, watching with the same quiet Rhea once held. General Holland stood beside her. They're afraid, he said. Good. She answered. It means they're finally listening. Do we reply to the council's request for peace talks? She thought for a moment, then shook her head. They didn't answer our first offer. Why should we answer theirs now? Back at the Spire, panic turned to desperation. An ambassador from the Therian Combine stepped forward. Let us beg Earth for mercy. Let us return what we stole. They must have a price. But the oldest member of the council, a blind creature known only as the seer, raised a clawed hand. You don't understand, the seer whispered. They're not angry. They're focused. The room fell silent again. The seer leaned forward. We didn't break Earth. We sharpened it. Suddenly, a new alert flashed across every screen. Earth. Fleets detected near multiple SYSTMs. No weapons fired yet. No threats. Just presence. They blocked suns. They hovered above war factories. They circled moons once used for secret experiments. They were watching and waiting. The council had only one. Message returned to them when they tried to speak to Earth's commanders. Remember New Geneva. Remember New Geneva. The ruins still glowed. Even after all these years, New Geneva had been Earth's greatest hope, a city of glass towers, gardens, and peace chambers. It was built to welcome the stars. Now it was Ash. Commander Rhea Voss stood at the edge of a massive crater. Her boots sank slightly into the black dust. All around her were broken metal beams, shattered stone, and small pieces of human life, burned toys, torn photos, melted benches. She didn't move for a long time. Behind her, the revenants waited in silence. No one spoke. They knew what this place meant. Rhea bent down and picked up a piece of glass. A single word was still burned into it. Welcome. She stared at it, then crushed it in her hand. A hologram buzzed to life beside her. It was General Holland from Earth Command. The Council is begging again. Some are offering tribute. Some are surrendering outright. Rhea didn't look at the image. And the Jar survivors? Trying to flee. Hiding in trade ships. She nodded slowly. No one ran when they bombed us. That night, Rhea and the Revenants entered the old hospital site. The place where her daughter had died. She walked through twisted halls with no roof. The wind whispered through broken windows. She stopped in one room 7A. There, on the wall, a child's drawing still clung by a melted pin. It showed 3 stick figures. One tall, one short, and one very small. All holding hands. Rhea dropped to her knees. The memory hit her like a blade. Flashback, her daughter. Lena had drawn that picture while waiting for treatment. She had looked up at Rhea and said softly, "When peace comes, can we go see the stars together?" Rhea had smiled. "Yes, I promise." But the stars brought fire instead. Back in the present, Rhea took a small device from her belt. She placed it on the floor, pressed one button, and stepped back. A soft blue light spread over the ruined room. Then, fire. The device exploded silently, burning the room to pure white. Nothing would remain, not even the memories. The Revenants stood by. One of them, Unit 06, finally spoke. "Are we still fighting for Earth?" Rhea turned to him, eyes hollow. "No, we're fighting for the dead." Another Revenant asked quietly, "And when the dead are avenged, what are we?" She answered without emotion, "Then we rest." Above New Geneva, a Jar scout ship entered Earth's orbit without permission. It tried to send a message. "We surrender. Please, let us speak." The Revenants answered by tearing the ship from the sky. No words. No deals. Only fire. Later that night, Rhea stood alone again. She stared at the stars, cold, bright, distant. They thought peace was weakness. She whispered. They never met a mother who lost her child. Earth's broadcast. The stars were watching. Every major planet, space station, and galactic trade route went silent when Earth's symbol appeared in the sky, an ancient blue circle, with 7 black rings spinning around it. No sound. No warning. Just a pulse. And then the broadcast began. Across thousands of worlds, Screens turned to static, then cleared. A woman appeared. She wore black armor. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow. Behind her stood 10 silent giants motionless. Revenants. It was Commander Rhea Voss. She didn't speak right away. She just stared into the camera, letting the silence carry weight. Then her voice came cold and steady. This message is not for the kind. It is not for the innocent. This is for the ones who watched and did nothing. Images began to flash behind her. Children running through fire. The explosion at New Geneva. Peace flags crushed. Under alien boots, her voice continued. Earth once believed in peace. We believed in diplomacy, understanding, and trust. We sent words. We built cities for the galaxy. You answered with war. The feed showed black ships, silent giants hovering above war ruins, circling other enemy worlds. We did not come to conquer. We came to remind. Remind you what happens when mercy is mistaken for fear. Then came the moment no one expected. Rhea held up something small. A piece of paper. A child's drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands under the word. Peace. Her voice softened. Just for a second. This was drawn by my daughter, 1 hour before she died. She believed in peace more than I ever could. She looked into the camera again. And now I carry her last wish, but not as a dream, as a warning. Suddenly, the screen shifted. Earth's ships, silent and massive, are now seen surrounding 3 council homeworlds. No weapons fired. Just presence. Shadow falling on suns. Entire planets frozen in fear. Rhea's voice returned. This is not revenge. This is balance. The galaxy will remember New Geneva. And if it forgets, she stepped forward, closer, to the camera. We will remind it again. Then the feed ended. No signature. No anthem. No flag. Just a final message written in bold white text. Earth once chose peace. Now, we choose the outcome. In the council's core chamber, silence hung like death. Some members whispered of surrender. Some quietly began fleeing to outer colonies. The speaker dropped his staff. It echoed on the floor. The humans didn't just win, he whispered. They rewrote the rules. Back on Earth, in the command bunker, President Miritan stared at a wall of galactic news feeds. Fear. Shock. Chaos. She turned to General Holland. What happens next? He replied slowly. That's up to them. And how well they remember. A new silence. The galaxy held its breath. No one dared speak Earth's name out loud anymore. Even the bravest warlords whispered it like a curse. Trade routes shifted. Empires paused expansion. Pirate fleets went into hiding. Why? Because Earth never replied again, and silence is louder when it comes from those who used to beg for peace. Above dozens of planets, black ships hovered like ghosts, never attacking, never speaking, just watching. People said they could feel it in their bones when the shadows passed overhead, like the stars themselves had turned their backs. Some called it the era of ashes, others the human dawn, but most knew it by one name, the new silence. On a small moon near the edge of the Jar system, Commander Rhea Voss stood alone. Her armor was cracked, her eyes tired. The war was over. But the grief was not. She walked through the ruins of an abandoned alien colony, now overtaken by wild trees and blue moss. There was peace here now, the kind that grows after fire. Sat on a broken pillar and reached into her pocket. She pulled out a second drawing, one no one else had ever seen. This one showed her and her daughter sitting on grass, pointing at stars. Underneath, a note in crayon. Maybe the stars will be nice someday. Rhea smiled softly. The first smile in years. From orbit, one of the Revenant ships sent a message. Commander, new movement detected. Unknown species. No signs of weapons. She replied calmly, "Watch them. Do not engage." "Do we prepare?" "Defenses?" Rhea paused, looked up at the sky. "No, not yet. Let's see what they choose." Far away, deep in space, a small alien exploration ship recorded Earth's final broadcast. Its captain, a young scholar from a peaceful world, watched. The message in silence. He didn't laugh. He didn't judge. He simply whispered, "We should have answered the first message." Back on Earth, children were planting trees where missiles used to fall. Cities were rebuilding stronger, but quieter, wiser. People didn't cheer. They didn't celebrate Dot. They remembered, and they watched the stars dot in Earth's orbit, the last. Revenant stood alone on a platform. No name, no voice, just one task. To make sure the galaxy never forgot the day peace died. And what rose in its place? The final words of the story echoed without sound. "We offered peace once. You answered with fire. Now we are the quiet between stars. Cross it and hear us again."